Let's make the call to the bullpen. Brought to you by your Tri-State Cadillac dealers, and go live to Citi Field to welcome in Andy Martino. Andy, David Stearns spent most of his availability discussing run prevention. How was that the downfall of the 2025 Mets?
Well, as we saw, Sal, they were short on pitching, and they didn't expect to be short on pitching. I heard the discussion about process in your guys' first segment, and their process led them to think in spring training that they had enough starting pitching and bullpen to get them through the year, and obviously that wasn't the case. And the other side of that is defense. I asked Stearns, how long does it take to build basically a Milwaukee Brewers caliber defense? You watch that team, and they're athletic, they're versatile, they hit the cutoff man, they do all these things right. And Stearns, in his defense on this one, like any GM starting a job in his first couple of years or her first couple of years, inherited a lot of personnel. So how long does it take to build a Milwaukee Brewers type defense? And he said, no, I've done this for 2 years. This is on me at this point. This roster's on me. And that's good of him to say, to be accountable. But I also think it's fair to say that when we look at a Stearns Mets team in 2 years, 3 years, it's going to look a lot more athletic than it did this year in year two of his tenure. And the last thing I'll say on the pitching front is that they may have to adjust to getting more of that ace-type pitcher. They're probably never going to overpay the top starting pitcher in free agency, but, and this is just me talking, not reporting, but, like, go get Paul Skeens. Go get Sandy Alcantara. Use that farm system to do something exciting, and maybe think a little more boldly in that way. See the building behind me here? This is no longer the place in New York where it's sleepy compared to Yankee Stadium and where the Yankees go do stuff like that. This is an ambitious, well-resourced organization run by Steve Cohen, so call the Pirates and see what it takes to get you Skeens here. That's what would prevent some runs, Sal.
Yeah, well, I understand that. And by the way, I love what I've heard from Stearns and Cohen today. It does make me feel better as a Mets fan, even after what I deem the most embarrassing season of my Mets fandom. But you mentioned this before. We heard Stearns talking about the core, right, being open-minded to the team's core. If you're talking about changing the defense, he inherited a lot of guys that he's been stuck with, whether it's Alonso, Lindor, whose defense declined, Nimmo, who can't move in left field. So what is Stearns talking about that team's core? What does that mean for their star players?
I believe the phrase he uses, we have to be open-minded, when he was asked about the core. So, yeah, they have to, when you have an experience like what this team just had, you have to really open up all means of discussion. That's why when I wrote today, my last sentence was, would they think about seeing what you could do with a Lindor or a Nimmo? I'm not reporting that they're doing anything on that front, and both players have levels of no trade protection, but you have to think at every level about what you can do going forward. Maybe you reject it. Maybe you say, no, we're better with those guys. But you have to think about it. You have to think about not bringing back Alonso or Diaz. You have to think about if now's the time to move on from a McNeil. And I'm not taking shots at any of these guys. I'm just saying that what we just saw produced a certain result. Guys are getting older, and you have to be open-minded to have a conversation about absolutely anything. I don't think there can be a single sacred cow on this roster.
Yeah, and it's not just 1 year. Obviously, it goes back to 4 years, back to 2022. You mentioned Pete Alonso. He announced after the game that he's going to opt out. No surprise there of his contract for next season. So how do you see that playing out again, Andy, with Alonso and the Mets?
It's a complete unknown, Sal. When he hit that franchise record home run, I felt like they were talking to you and you're hearing your callers on the radio and just general sense of Mets fan, like, well, obviously he's got Met for life. No, not obviously. I understand that he's beloved, and I'm not saying he's gone. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying that it falls under the same banner of what I just said about the broader roster. The Mets have to think open-mindedly about everything that comes. They want to get better defensively. Alonso developed that throwing issue this year. He works hard on his defense and his base running and things that aren't just his power. But is that the first baseman you want to move forward with? I've certainly heard murmurings of, hey, you can come back, but there have to be more DH time. So I think a discussion like that would have to be on the table if they were to bring Alonso back. We're just going to once again have to ride that Pete Alonso free agency roller coaster and not know where it's going to end up.
Yeah, same second straight year. We're going to be dealing with that in the offseason. And thank you for your time, Andy. We appreciate it.